Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. Uh, Now, some people seem to take some of the things that I have said in the wrong light, as though I oppose the restrictions that are being placed and so forth and so on. Uh, like I'm going to be one of the people out in the street, uh, saying to end the restrictions or something like that. And that's absolutely wrong. Months ago, before the pandemic ever made its way here or was announced that it was already here, one of the first things I wrote about this was that being a capitalist country, the United States would have a much higher death toll as compared to many other countries, especially China, because businesses, corporations, etc., would oppose it, and our elected officials would go along with what their corporate donors wanted. And, the restrictions that have been put in place, I'm not going to call a quarantine, but I have been surprised at the level of restrictions that have been put in place. Social distancing, masks, the closure of non-essential businesses came as the biggest surprise to me. Hair salons, tattoo parlors, jewelry stores, etc., have actually been recognized as non-essential. It's not a surprise that fast food places and so forth are still open. And, so, I also said that a lot of people, especially conservatives, would be protesting against any such thing, that it's taking away their rights, etc. And now we've got large protests of people in the street, a lot of them waving Confederate flags in states that were not part of the Confederacy and carrying guns. What are they going to shoot, the virus? Really? Right. So, I saw that coming, and I'm going to be an asshole here and say, go for it. Go on out there. This is Darwinism in action. Darwin Awards all around. And my sorrow and apprehension with these people as the people that are at risk that they will come in contact with and infect. People with cardiac and respiratory problems and diabetes, etc., that they come in contact with. But we can't stop them. We can't. There's nothing we can do without imposing martial law, which I'm also against. If this isn't voluntary, then we just have to let things take its course. Now, of course, all these protests and so forth, a lot of this, I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. In some ways, it could, spike the infection rate much higher, but it may bring an end to it faster. I don't know. But, so, I'm all in favor of freedom of speech. But this form of freedom of speech is placing lives at risk. So, no, I'm not in favor of any of that. I'm in favor of the restrictions that have been put in place. So, anybody that thinks that I'm against the restrictions or, I I have said that this is being overblown, and evidence has come out which absolutely proves that, which the CDC is giving instructions to doctors that if a person has a heart attack and they're suspected of having this illness but not tested, that illness is listed as a cause of death, even though the actual cause of death was a heart attack. On the other hand, there are many more people dying of heart attacks and respiratory failure in a short period of time, that it's an abnormal rate of death. So this illness absolutely plays into it, but it's a lot more complex. But yes, I tend to think, for the most part, it's being intentionally overblown. You know, a lot of people are saying we need universal testing. Testing doesn't cure anybody. You know, there have been a lot of false positives and false negatives with the testing that is being used. So if somebody has a false negative and they're still going out and around and infecting other people, that's a problem. The accuracy of the tests, the speed of the tests needs to be improved drastically. But until that happens, even if we test everybody, okay, you test positive, so you've got to go on isolation. Well, what is that? For how long? Until you test negative? Is somebody going to come to your house and test you? No, I think it's better for people to be wearing masks and washing their hands properly. Yeah. Hygiene is a good thing. Imagine that. Wash your hands. Why is that so hard? I saw a meme online that was talking about, all of a sudden the stores are selling out of hand soap. What were these people doing before? The store shouldn't have been sold out of hand soap. And and selling out of bleach. What are you cleaning with? So these are problems that have been here, and they've spread lots of infectious diseases. And they will continue to spread lots of diseases if everybody just goes back to the same procedures, the same activities in the same way. I understand a lot of people are frustrated with the social isolation, but you can't be driven by your emotions alone. Get online, form limited social circles with other people that are willing to take the risks that you are. Don't go out in a crowd of thousands of people or hundreds or, whatever. Don't pick up guns. And who are you threatening? You got some people that are protesting being in lockdown, voluntary lockdown, having businesses closed. I understand the economic, financial stress. But this is, there are people saying that more people are going to die because of the lockdown than from the virus. Well, that is a problem with our system. How many people do you want to put at risk instead of contacting your elected officials and protesting against the corporate-friendly bailout, when are you going to get a clue? When do you want to change it? If not now, when? If you're not pushing for changes right this minute, then you're just for the status quo. You want to keep things going the way they've been going. And that's not working. The fact that this is having this much of an financial impact on so many millions of people shows that our system is not working. So you need to be pushing for change. We need to help each other survive through this. And we need to push our elected officials to help the people instead of the corporations. All right? So this should, I hope, settle any claims that I am against these restrictions. And, yes, the virus is very real. Yes, it is being hyperinflated with their numbers. Yes, to a large degree, it is being used to control the populace, probably more than it's being used to control the infection rate. We can deal with that for a short time. All right? As far as causing threats and death to other people, no, we can't. You don't come back from that. Putting your feelings above the safety of your neighbors and family members, that is inexcusable. Stop focusing on your feelings on either side. Don't be spreading stories of terror that have no hope. You're causing more emotional stress to other people, and that's not good. But don't be pushing to lift the restrictions because of your feelings. All right. Contact your elected